Hey guys, this is Jacobo coming at you with another video tutorial. This one I want to center around primarily rotoscoping, but just using a lot of tips and techniques. So if you have any questions or any other techniques that you'd like to tell me about, I'd be happy to hear about it. I'm pretty much self-taught for this program, watching lots of web tutorials and read through the books 3 times. So I've done roto working just for myself and for my demo reel, and also professionally. So I'll teach you some of the time-saving tricks I've learned. I've also used rotoscapes in Adobe After Effects, and I've found Shake to be much better than After Effects, much quicker, much faster, much neater, and much more flexible, and I can show you why. But yeah, Shake has a lot more capabilities there. I thought I'd just show you some of the stuff on. Here's a little clip from one of my upcoming scenes. I need to add in the pole originally, but he jumps up and explodes that. Um, it's a kind of a light post that the other person throws at him. That looks a little like this one, but a lot more huge and menacing. It's going to break through the windows back there, so I just did the explosion right now, and obviously he's going to need to go into the foreground. Obviously that's not going to be in front of him. So we can get started with that. And yeah, I made this in Maya, also with Blast Code. I can do a tutorial if you're really interested, and just flopped it to fit, and moved it a little bit, color corrected it. And then when you branch something, it's like two of the same clip over top. So yeah, I just had that in, made it a little bit brighter, and added it to my scene, and I'll tweak with it more. I'll probably want to color correct it a little more, and maybe even get back into the texturing. But this right here is about rotoscoping, so we can frame up, see when we need to start it off. And right here he starts getting covered up, and I'll probably just trace around other parts besides there, since I don't know if that's the final one I'm going to use. But you can pre-rotoscope stuff even if it's not the final stuff you're going to use. So go to Image and Roto Shape. You always want to make sure it's the same resolution you're using, or else it'll run out. But it's alright to have rotoscapes shapes that are bigger, but if it's smaller, then you'll run out of space and it'll get cut off. And a lot of people just insert it like this, which works alright, but I like to encourage you not to do that, because that really decreases flexibility. And also there's other things you can plug into Mass, like blurs and all kinds of effects or ramps. So the tool I use a lot, well, there's two. You can use Key Mix, but the one I use the most is called Switch Mat. And really what that does is it lets you put your clip in here and your roto shape in there. And why this is really nice, let's say you add a transform move to D node, move it around a bit, then I can be looking at my finished clip, and if I start tracing around him like this, just do a really quick one, and insert it in here, it's going to be off, see? And yeah, it gets really messy when you're trying to insert it into move 2D nodes. Yeah, it doesn't even work. Whereas if you do move 2D and then do your switch mat, then instead, let me just delete this shape. Delete shape, sorry. And go to the new one, pull this up. Now I have it in the move 2D, and I could be looking at my finished footage and rotoscoping directly there, you know, then you can insert it at any point you want to, and then that actually works. See, it's after the move 2D. Then we'd want to create another layer over node and, you know, insert the original footage in there as well. But oh yeah, and since this is off, is because of the move 2D, we'd actually want to insert it from here, and then again into there. Yeah, so that's why you want to use the switch mat node. But let me go really quick over. So so you have two different things you can do. Have them with direct edges. Let's go back to the original roto shape, that there. I'll just delete that shape. Delete shape. Yeah, we have an original here. Get rid of that move 2D, clean things up. We have our switch mat there. So yeah, when you create a shape, it really depends on the complexity of your scene, how many you draw on. Often, especially professionally, they want you to do a really clean job. So go to add shape. So I'll just start with one that's not too complex. And what's really nice, well, I don't want to use up the time just going through clicking, so I'll just show you some. What's really nice, this is one of the reasons I like it much better than Adobe After Effects. This shape is its own entity. It's not really attached to it. So if you want to move around the shape, you know, if someone's running, especially, this is useful. You can move it along with them. You can keyframe it with them and move all these shapes at the same time. You have all this flexibility. You can make the whole shape bigger. You can make it bigger in the X direction, bigger in the Y direction. You can rotate it. And really that comes in handy a lot, especially when you're doing, you know, body and torso. It'll be moving around, and that's a lot trickier to do in After Effects. You have to go through and select them all, but you can't scale them or anything like that. And I find a lot of times I have my clip being dragged around, which is really, really annoying in After Effects. The other big difference I find is you go to toggle spline mode, you just want to click that twice, and it makes them smooth. You know, you can multiply click. It's easier to smooth them out. But what else is really nice for this? You can set another keyframe and, you know, make them like that. I need to have key on. You know, make them smooth, set a keyframe, and then turn them back, and, you know, they turn back and forth really easily from smooth into not smooth, which I've had a lot of trouble in that with Adobe After Effects. I've worked with both for several years, and I just find they kind of get tangled up, and it's harder to get them to keyframe, you know, smooth versus not smooth. And then in this one, it's really convenient, really easy, and you want it smooth for some things, and then you just unsmooth it really quickly. And that's really nice. And just the keying, you know, you have auto key on, and, you know, generally I leave that on so you don't need to go down into the sub menu and turn keyframe on every time. In After Effects, you have to go through menus and have it key the shape, and sometimes I forget to do that, which is an incredible pain. There's even times I've been keying stuff for about an hour and then realize that, you know, it's not actually keyframed. I've just been moving it around and it hasn't been saving any of that